All right. Hi,
All right.
Steven.
What's up, dude?
How are you, buddy?
Very well. Just want to let podcast world know straight off the bat. Disclaimer: I drink a ton of water all the time.
What? So what?
So
Does
I'll
that
be
mean
drinking a lot of water.
so does that mean that you're gonna have to constantly go to the bathroom?
No. I have
I
got
don't
that
know.
taken care of.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't want to go into further detail. I don't want to get you in trouble.
It's okay. Remember we said we're gonna test it. We're gonna
Okay,
test the waters.
catheter. Let's just say catheter, okay?
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So
Uh,
I got your gift right here.
yes.
This is a good old fashioned California straw,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I think so.
Are you mad?
Am I what?
Are you mad
Mad about what?
that I opened up your present, or that I opened up my present, even though you told me
I
not
knew
to?
you were gonna do it, and I was telling myself that I should have let your wife know, but I messed up. My mistake, whatever. But there's another gift for you.
Oh, dang it! Did you tell me there was two?
No, I didn't tell you there was. I only told you I was getting you
You
something.
should have told me. I would have brought it.
Originally I wanted to send you alcohol, but that was so complicated. My goodness. You
Yeah,
have to have like a
packaging.
licensed vendor, packaging. Yeah, I'm sure
Packaging.
Amazon could have done it through Whole Foods, but
Yeah, nah. How about you? Yeah, for that, just save it so that one day you come visit me and then you bring that alcohol with you.
I
Or
was thinking
yes, or we would just buy some alcohol and we drink it over here in the podcast.
as long as it's not, as long as I don't make, I'm not that bad, to where it's like, I'm never having this guy on again. What the heck?
If I say that, then I definitely need to have you on again.
How do you have negative followers?
I'm only gonna be available on, I don't know, like YouTube Kids or something.
You got to go out to the outskirts
Yeah.
of videography and all that.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing really well.
It's
Just,
been uh-huh.
working.
Yeah. Can you believe
Yeah.
it's been over a year that we've seen each other?
Yeah, I can. I
That's
think the
crazy.
last time I saw you was at that restaurant.
Yeah. That was a year ago. More than a year, like a year, maybe 7, 8 months.
Yeah. I mean,
Dang.
whew. Yeah, that was
That's-
a big move for you.
I know.
mean, I know you're interviewing me, but like, what was that like?
You know what? It was super helpful that we knew people over here.
Oh, you did.
Yes. Well, my little brother had Shaggy. He was already living here.
Oh, he was there before you.
Yes. So I mean, like, because we've heard stories before we decided to make this move that we heard stories that people came over here and they immediately moved back. And that I feel like that could also be because of lack of network. It's like you go into somewhere else, someone out of your normal, and you don't feel comfortable. You don't have anybody to talk to, and after that, after time, you eventually end up going back. You don't have a support system anymore. So
I can see that.
yeah,
I can see
and Shaggy he already lived here, and then my wife's best friend also lived over here. So it's like, okay, at least we have two people
It's two. Yes.
that we know over here. It's better than nothing. And also,
That is better than nothing.
and also
Yeah.
we kind of already had kind of a job to go into, but that ended up not working out. But I'm glad that even though it didn't work out, it still made
Yeah.
me make that move.
Okay. I mean,
You know?
I would imagine it's a huge risk. Obviously,
Yes.
you're leaving your second home, and now you have a third home, and it's like, whoa, you're like, and along with that, you said you lost that first job. My goodness, the stress you must have been under.
Yeah, it was annoying. So before we moved in California, they told me that yeah, you're gonna have this job. All you need to do is to come over here for an interview, right?
Oh.
So I was like, okay, great. They're like, you pretty much already have the job, but it's required for you to have an interview. So I mean, you already have the job, but you need the interview. I was like, all right, fine. Um, and that day, they emailed me and they said, you know what? We already filled out we already filled the position.
Because somebody went and did an interview? I mean, how does that
I
happen?
don't know. I was just super upset. But at
We
that
know
point, I
you're in
was,
California, but this guy beat you here.
yes,
Or
yes,
woman, whichever. They beat you.
exactly. So after that, I mean, after that, I mean, that was literally the last day I was in Cali. As they emailed me that, I was on my way home after work.
Man.
So, and the way I see it, also, what people were telling me, aren't you scared and aren't you worried? And I kind of related back to my parents. My parents moved from Mexico to, well, my
Mm.
dad first. My dad moved from Mexico to the U.S. with nothing. And I thought to myself, like, okay, if he was able to do it, why can't we? And we have a lot more than what my dad did.
Mm-hmm.
We have at least, each other. We have education. We have more opportunities. So if anything, it could be
Should be
easier.
easier.
Yeah.
And did you talk to your dad before you did it for like tips and stuff, or
Yeah.
did you not even think you did? Okay,
Yeah, I did
that's
for sure.
interesting. I didn't
And
even think about your parents doing that. That's totally true. Like, yeah,
yeah.
they did the same thing, and maybe it's hereditary. It's like, oh, it's in my blood to want to go try something new, go somewhere new.
Yes. And you know what? I've even heard, like, in some of the podcasts that I listen to, that you know our ancestors were actually people like that. They moved from tribe to tribe, and they moved from one place to another. They were kind of explorers already. So I feel like that's also something that's inherited in each of us.
I could see that as a layman. Like, obviously, I don't know the real history or
Me neither.
background of it, but I would imagine finding these resources, they weren't all in one place like it is now. So they probably had to get on up and move somewhere else to
Yeah.
find something. Whether it's
Yeah.
water, food, house, whatever. I bet better weather,
Yes,
everything.
that's
Huh?
true. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
if they live in the cave and they see a big old cat, they're like, we need to move because this big ass cat is gonna eat
Our
us.
neighbors are so mean. He scratched my kid.
Exactly.
And there's no HOA or police at the
Ah.
time, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Who are you gonna complain to? You can't make a post on Instagram.
A post on Instagram.
They probably did post on the wall or on the rocks,
Oh
like
yeah, you're right on the rock, the bathroom rock.
they were
Just
like,
right
hashtag
experience.
neighbors suck.
Hashtag neighbors.
Yeah. So,
I think that's where that joke comes from. Why don't you play cards with the cat?
oh, I never heard of that.
Because they're a cheetah.
Uh, that's true. It's
That's true.
yeah, it's just crazy,
Can we
man.
cheers?
Huh?
Cheers. Can we cheers?
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers to
Cheers.
whatever is in there.
This is sparkling water. What do you have?
Oh, I call it taboo tea. It's my own little creation.
Taboo tea.
Mm-hmm.
What's taboo tea?
It's whiskey and black tea with some ice.
What?
Yes.
Hmm.
Man, is it a good time.
What kind of whiskey do you use?
Well, right now at the local supermarket, they have Glenlivet. It's on
Uh-huh.
sale, so that's what I'm drinking right now. It's so good. I'm like, man, and it's usually a
Mm,
little more, but since it's on sale, I'm like, I'm gonna go for it. And I
yes.
mix that with some tea, and I'm good. It's refreshing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's smooth, and I'm not, I just like it.
You know what drink I think about sometimes when we used to drink back in the day? Um, Jack
Water?
Daniels.
Oh,
What is that?
water?
What is that?
It's a clear substance that doesn't have a ton of flavor, but supposedly you need it to live. I don't know.
I don't believe it. I don't
Then
believe the
don't drink
hype.
it.
I don't believe the hype.
Hide behind the water.
What is this
Sure.
new trend water? Let's let's stick to whiskey.
Hashtag H2O, right? Is that
H2O
how
is
that goes?
dead.
I'm
Uh,
not really up on all that stuff, anyways. Like, if I'm being honest, it wasn't up until like a year and a half ago that I actually really started diving into social media. You know, I got off Facebook like in 2017. I
you
don't
got
really use
off
it.
Facebook?
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
stopped using it like right after the 2016 election for no other reason
Yeah.
than I was like, this is just too much. Actually, you know what it was? I know exactly what it was. My phone was making me get the app over doing it off the browser, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing that. So I just stopped using
Really?
Facebook.
How
Yeah.
was it doing that?
I don't know. It just pretty much said like, oh, we're gonna switch over to the app in a week. You won't
Oh,
be able to access
yes.
all your stuff, and I was like, oh man, well I'm not using
Yes.
Facebook anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how they got me. I was using the Facebook on the browser and I
Yep.
would get messages from my mom and they said, "Well, the only way to reach your messenger is to download the Messenger app."
Yep.
I was like, "Dang it."
And you know, I don't have all the money in the world. I can't afford a larger memory card for my phone, so you know, it wasn't gonna happen. I didn't have enough space on my phone, like, and I couldn't afford more at the time. So, you know, opportunity costs. Facebook had to go,
So,
and then you know,
uh-huh.
never used anything else after that until like 2 years ago, really.
Wow. So how was it from having Facebook to not having Facebook? Or did you use it as much?
I did. I used it a lot every day.
Okay.
I was reading
Yeah.
it. I was,
Uh-huh.
you know, the fun stuff you do on YouTube, or I'm sorry, YouTube, on
Facebook.
Facebook. You argue with people. You read fake news. You find other people you didn't know. You stalk old high school friends. You know, all that good stuff.
Right.
But then yeah, it just kind of fell off for me. So
Yeah.
after that, it wasn't really a big deal. It wasn't really anything different, you know.
Okay. That's good.
Unless you have to ask the people on Facebook that were dealing with me, see how they were like, "Oh man, we sure missed that annoying short guy."
Or I'm glad he's off.
I'm glad he's off. He hurt my feelings.
Did you go into like deep arguments with people?
Yeah, I did. One
Really?
time, we were talking about some racial thing. I won't get in too far
Uh-huh.
into it, but I was basically questioning this guy, and then when I do stuff like that, I try to do my research. You know, I don't want to just lie to somebody or
Yes.
say something that's not true. I try to be factual. You know,
Yes.
even if it's opinion based, my opinions I try to have them based in like historical history, facts, all that important stuff. So, anyways, I just said something. We're talking about some racial thing, and he DM'd me like, "Hey, man, you're just telling me all this stuff, and you're making me feel like I can't be a part of this conversation because I'm not Mexican." I was like, "What the?" Like I'm like oblivious when it comes to that stuff. That was like the last thing on my mind, you know? And
Uh-huh.
so I apologized to him because I did enjoy having these back and forth banters with him, but you know, after that he never wanted to talk to me again. So
Yeah.
be like that.
But
It'd
I
be like
mean, that's also fun, no? Having conversation and questioning one another. As long as, just don't take it personal.
I mean, to me that's like a big embodiment of like the First Amendment, right? Like
Yes.
that's what we do. That's me to me. I don't know about silencing people, but I think the best thing for us to do is have a conversation. Even
Yes.
if I'm not, even if I know that what I'm saying is not going to get across to everybody, I guess it's fair to say like maybe you can get to one person, or one person will read it, something like that. And I find value in that.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
even it's not gonna impact everybody, but if it reaches 100 people, I'm pretty sure that out of those 100 people, it may reach one person, then that may change somebody's ideology on whatever the topic
yeah,
is, right?
yeah. You know what my favorite thing about Facebook is?
Ah,
Is people that complain about other people posting their stuff on Facebook. Like nobody cares about what you're doing. But it's called Face. It's yours. It's your page. Why are you tripping about what someone else is putting on their page? And be like, you
yeah,
can't. Nobody wants to hear about your life
yeah,
on your Facebook, on your
right,
personal profile.
yes. Well, I think it goes back to what we just said that it might it might affect somebody else. Because if you post about let's say water, the water is super healthy for you, or let's say that they pose that water is not healthy for you. Somebody might take that into consideration, and there's other people that are like, well, you know what, you shouldn't be listening to this person.
Did we just make water political? I'm just kidding.
So I feel like people are scared that their ideas or their opinions are gonna affect other people. You know?
Well, even putting yourself out there, it is
Yeah.
scary. Even leading up to today, I was nervous. This is my first time doing a video conference podcast.
Are you still nervous?
Am I still nervous?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. I am nervous about putting myself out there. I'm actually the type of person that'll tell you that you need my consent before you take my picture.
Yes.
So,
But
this is a lot for me.
but I feel like that's why I wanted you here, because you're like, I liked how you're wild, and you're one of my friends that is actually smart. That I feel like it's actually
I
smart.
can't believe you called me your friend.
And smart.
Oh yeah, that too. That's okay. I reserve terms like that for other people to use on me. I don't like to tell people that I'm smart or that I'm cool. I don't like talking
Yeah,
about
I
myself.
know. Same here. It's like, let's
It's
just, yeah, and it just, I feel like those are the people that are all about their ego, and
yeah,
that's not good. But I mean, there's people out
yeah.
there that all they care about is their ego.
I'm
They're
not
like,
saying that I'm not smart or I'm not. I have some intelligence, but I'm not gonna go around telling everybody I'm smart. But if you tell me I'm
right.
smart, thanks. I appreciate that.
Or just like you say, you do your research,
Oh
so
yeah.
that way you know exactly what you're saying, what your idea, what you're putting out there. There's this actual research and actual data behind it. You're just not, throwing stuff out there just out of nowhere.
Whatever. And you know what? I know I might be contradicting myself slightly, even if I do put something out there that might not be true or factual or something. If someone calls me out on it, I'm willing to take responsibility and like, oh, I'll then look into it. I've had that happen too. Obviously, I'm not perfect, so I try to be objective
Hmm.
because it there is a lot of partisanship just in general, and I think a lot of people in our generation want authenticity,
Yes.
objectivity. They want somebody that's real. I guess I know that's played out, but I know I crave that. I know I want that.
Yeah.
Even at work, I want my supervisors and my bosses to be honest with me. Let me know what's up. If I'm making a mistake, tell me that I'm making a mistake. If I'm doing good, tell me I'm doing good. Like I need that. I mean, doesn't
Right.
everybody?
We should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like, it, what you said is perfect. I mean, you gotta be also open minded, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be able to challenge your own ideas, your own opinions, and able to challenge other people's opinions and ideas, because that may open the gateway to something else, something even better, something even greater.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, like um that's why I said like I have some intelligence, but I don't know everything. Obviously I'm not. I actually don't like the word perfect. I don't like thinking
Yeah.
of
No.
things as perfect. There's always something to work towards. You can always do better. Always. Like I never close any door to myself like that. I mean, that's why I try to be even-handed with people too. I mean, even if I don't like somebody, you never know when you might need somebody. You might need that
Yes.
person that you're beefing with, as the kids say.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. And what was I gonna say? Dang it. Yeah, man. And I mean, that person even that you're beefing with can be, I mean, how many times have you not seen where people are beefing it and then they end up being friends after? It's like because they already released everything in the past, with each other, and now that all that has been, demolished, then now it's like out of that fight, now there's a friendship that comes out of that.
I
You
could
know?
see that. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously it's not like Hollywood though. Like it's like, oh, we've hate each other, now we're best friends. I know it's
Yes.
not like that. I don't like
Yes.
that somehow how Hollywood dictates a lot of stuff. How not what we do or kind of how we react. Like I'll give you an example. Like you remember growing up watching those TV shows like on Disney Channel, like Boy Meets World, all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I sometimes I think like if I wonder if that's distorted like my view of how back then how somebody in high school should look. Like
Right.
think about how much older those kids looked, and then
Yes.
when you get to be in high school, it's like why don't I look like that? I, I mean,
Yes.
I barely started thinking about stuff like that, but I wonder if that affected people.
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder.
Well, I feel like it started from that because if it started from that, I mean, look at what it's come to now. People are trying to become that perfect person by even applying filters or getting stuff done to their face, like plastic surgery and all that, just to be perfect. But it's something that they're always chasing and that they'll never reach.
Probably some people. I could see that.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, yeah. I just think that yeah. I'm like I think a lot about stuff that has happened in the past. I don't dwell on it, but I
Right.
wonder about like certain situations and things like and I think everybody does that. Like
Yeah.
I mean, how do you learn to do better or change something you've done wrong in the past if you don't think about what you've done?
Right.
Self reflection.
Yes. And that's great that I mean, in a way it's good and it's bad that we have those people. I mean, it's good because it's like a balance, right? You have people that are doing that, but then there's people that actually um, love who they are and love what they were giving and don't want to change it. But then you got people that don't love who they are and want everything they can to change it. So it's also a balance, and I feel like that's what it is with everything. You got some people that do it this way, and some people that don't. You know.
You basically said everybody's different. I agree with you.
So now you're back on Facebook. Oh yeah, you're back on Facebook. You're back on Instagram.
Periodically.
Do you have TikTok?
No, I don't do TikTok. I don't
Why?
mess with TikToks. Why? I guess it's not catered to me. It's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see. I mean, what do you do on TikTok? I'm gonna post a video of me dancing, or I'm gonna be cleaning a mirror and then be in lingerie when I wipe it again. Like I don't. That's not what I do.
Right. I,
Man, that'd be so outside of my character if you're just like, hey, Steven just put up a TikTok. What's he doing?
he's
And I'm
cleaning a
just
mirror.
wearing red. He's cleaning a mirror. Finally, finally a skill.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Man, they do. They probably do clean a lot of mirrors, though. That's good,
They,
though. Good to
yeah.
see people
They
taking care of their house.
they looks like they clean more invisible mirrors than actual mirrors.
I know, huh?
Yep.
Or that. What was that other one where there would be one person in the mirror and then the other person behind him, and the person in the front just kind of looking, and the person in the back is dancing, and then it'll
Right.
switch, and the other person is looking and dancing.
D-
What was that about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, can I ask you something
Of
then? Maybe
course.
I mean, and then you can also like clip this out and be like, hey, look, this is gonna be in my like trailer for my podcast. Like,
Oh,
so, uh, what is kind of your goal or your focus with this? What is it that I guess not trying to accomplish, but what is it you want to see come from this?
so what I want to see come from this is pretty much guidance for people that are kind of lost and don't know where to go, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that don't have mentors and don't have guidance or don't have steps or even don't know people that know their stories or the challenges that they have to go through. So sometimes they feel like they have nowhere to go, and I want to talk to normal people who can, can share their experiences of what they've gone through, what challenges they've been through, so that way they can, hopefully say, you know what, if this person can do it, so can I. And it might not work out for me, but I'm gonna take those steps and see where it
Yeah.
leads to.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's why I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stuff out there for people to be, in high success, like being radio, being in the movies, be a comedian, all that stuff. But I think I've come to realize that there's some people that just want to work at a company, do their best, and own the title that they're in. There's people out there that want to be operations managers. There's people that want to be project managers. There's people that want to be technicians. Not everybody wants to be an actor. Not everybody wants to be a musician. Not everybody wants to be a comedian. I just want a podcast for normal people.
I like that, and I've
You know,
I've 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 considered things like that, and you know what? I can identify with a lot of what you said. I think there may be an appetite to hear what, for lack of a better term, what the average Joe or average Jane
yeah.
is doing with their life. You're absolutely right, and I think okay, that's impressive. I'm excited to kind of see where this goes. I have watched a couple of your episodes,
Thank you,
and I
man.
kind of got that feeling. I
Good,
kind of
good.
got that feeling from it, but I wasn't entirely you missed. You wasn't entirely sure uh, what it was, and I didn't want to make any assumptions. I kind of wanted to hear what you said. So when you first reached out to me, I was I watched your podcast and I did my best to be, like I always say, objective and
Mhm.
have an open mind with it and see what was going on. And okay, I think I was spot on in what I was thinking.
Nice.
That's really cool, dude. That's
I'm
really cool.
glad. I'm glad. It's getting like that to the public. And
Yeah.
I don't mind. I think also it's good to have it to just like everything. It's good to have a balance. To
Mhm.
where even for me it's good because, so there's some podcasts that I'm gonna have with serious people, but sometimes it's good to have a conversation with like a friend like you. Just
Yeah.
to talk some BS and do some laughs, but also have hopefully some type of guidance. Hopefully, we inspire some people for something.
Yeah. Other
you
people to do laugh.
know.
People at home can do the laugh. I do it all the time. I I I am I do mess around a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I do joke around a lot. I always play with words and things like that. Even at work and stuff. And one of the cool things about doing that for so long, I'm an OG troll. I was trolling before it was cool. Okay, I was
You're the
trolling back
troll
in high school.
master.
I, yeah, like straight under the bridge. I would annoy teachers in high school and stuff just because, like, I would ask questions and ask weird questions and turn what they said, and that stuff was fun.
Yeah.
But what I learned from doing a lot of that is I've actually learned to listen to what people are actually saying,
Mm,
and um, you'd be surprised to see how many people aren't used to that.
yeah.
Like when I have meetings at work and I hear people talk or they give me literature, I soak it up. I read it all. I make sure that I'm on the ball, so I could probably mess with you later down the road. Or these rules that you have in this handbook, I'm gonna use them against you. You shouldn't have given them to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
that terms
that's
and agreements, I read that.
that's so you. Because I remember you asking the most ridiculous question. I'm like, how did this guy go from asking this ridiculous questions to having like a actual sophisticated conversation right after? what what is he bipolar or what's going
My
on?
I have bipolar conversations. I'm not
Yes,
bipolar.
you
Bipolar
have
conversations.
bipolar conversations.
Uh huh. It's like watching a romantic comedy movie when you're talking to me. You're gonna
Yeah.
get a little bit of everything. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. You're gonna get mad. There's a story, plot twist. All in me asking how your day was.
Yeah. You gotta stick around. Yeah, that's
It is
crazy.
pretty funny. I do have coworkers that do get like kind of annoyed with me, like I'll take them at their word, or one of these little things I'll do where someone's like, "I'm not lying," or somebody will be like, "You're lying," and I'll be like, "I'm not a lion. I'm a human." It's so dumb,
It is,
but
but
then just
but
people eat it up.
just like when when me and you used to work together, that was a lot of fun. I mean, we would
Was
joke
it?
around, but then we knew when to get serious.
Oh yeah,
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 it's like you know, you can adapt. You know how to act. You know when to act the way that you should be and where. You know,
yeah.
yeah. So that's
Yeah, and I've always
that's
known that, dude.
important.
I've always known that.
Hmm.
Even in when I had my first job, I was working at a fast food restaurant, and I'd have like people that always know me as messing around, that were genuinely curious, like, how do you act at work? Like, you're always like, yeah, I can't take you seriously ever. I don't know when you're being serious or not. But I know the difference at work. I know when to turn something on and turn something off.
Right.
Like, uh, I'm a pretty decent communicator. I guess that's what it is, and I am aware of my surroundings, more so than other people, because that's just the way my mind works. I'm always thinking about things. I'm always dissecting things in my mind, trying to figure out how it goes. And it probably isn't the most healthy way to look to do things, but
But it's your
I mean, I've
way.
done it my whole life.
Yeah. And I mean, you're still alive. It's working for you.
I know, right? I haven't gotten any scary situations. Like what? Probably. I've only been slightly involved in one drive-by in my life. I wasn't like in the car with him. I was around when it happened. Like, oh shoot, that's happening over there.
Oh dang.
I'm scared.
Yes.
So I have my swings with life. I know how it goes sometimes.
Yes. So, um, just to say, we're skyping together, and you're we're doing virtual podcast, and you're in California,
This is my
and
first virtual podcast.
mine too.
Yeah.
And so when you used to work at Del Taco, right?
Yes.
So
Just-
Texas does not have a Del Taco, and my wife, she used to love Del Taco. So now we're
What are you
pretty
saying,
sad that
Omar?
there's no Del Taco.
Are you telling me that you want me to open a Del Taco in Texas?
Yes, I'm 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 trying to throw ideas out there so that way you can move out here to Texas.
Oh my gosh. In all honesty, I don't think Texas is ready for receiving ARMANTROUT.
Oh, let's test it.
No, no offense, no offense to Texas,
Let's
but
try it.
I feel like people would instantly know I'm from California.
Oh yeah, I mean
I'm sure they know. Like, who
the
says
first
dude out here?
day, yeah, the first day we moved out here, they were like, "Where are y'all from?" I was like, "Oh," and they were like, "Are you guys from California?" And you're like, "Yep." Mm-hmm. You can tell right away. I think
Mhm.
that's what everywhere now, because you already know. I mean, you're used to even the normal people coming in, or you already know what the people around you look like, what they dress like, how they
Oh,
talk like, so
we have
right away.
accents.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You have two accents, dude. You have your accent, and then you have your California accent.
True. True.
Take that to Texas, and nobody gets what you're saying.
They're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Where is he from? I don't know if he's
Oh
California.
man,
I don't know if he's from California or Mexico.
I don't like him.
That's the point. I don't like him.
Whichever one he is.
Let's take him somewhere else.
That'd
Yeah.
be their mistake. They wouldn't know what they're missing, Omar. Me knowing you, I know you are. You know what's crazy about you? You just
What?
like you were telling me that I adapt. You really do adapt, and you have this ability to be fearless when you try something new. I mean, what you were doing when we were working at the aerospace shop, I tried filling those shoes and I couldn't even really do it. I mean, not for lack of trying, but there's just things that you need to know that to this day I'm like, man, how did you do it? Like, how was he able to do it? Like, I didn't know about ordering like raw material or talking with customers, I could do that all day. I could talk to people all day, but all the little intricacies that you have to pick up with that job, like impressive. It was impressive, I have to say. Um, being where I'm at now, I've been there 4 years now. I guess I could probably, you know, uh, wear your shoes and hopefully do them justice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know yet. They haven't given me the opportunity.
Thanks,
So,
man. Well, working there, and I think one ways that I always thought about it is that you kind of have to sometimes you have to fake it to make it,
oh no.
you know, and as long as you're as long as your foot's in the door, all the work is now on you. Not that
Yeah.
you're because that's sometimes that's the hardest thing to get your foot in the door. But once your foot is inside, it's up to you. So it's like, once you're inside, now it's up to you to learn everything. You have to do your homework, you have to study it, you have to know your ins and outs. And that's what I try to do, as long as and I think I always look for the opportunity. I try to, and you know, as you probably know, there was somebody there that was a mentor to me, and I try to be as close to him as possible, so that I can learn as much as I can from him as possible.
Hmm.
So that way when the opportunity came about, I was the first one on their list. And not only that, but my mentor was also able to provide some support for me to get into that position, you know?
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to just keep on picking at it, learning, try to learn as much as you can, because you never know when the opportunity might come up. Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks, couple of months, or sometimes it takes years. But no matter what, you're always learning something new.
Hmm.
You know.
I told that person about your podcast.
Oh yeah.
He wanted to know about it. I told him what it was called. I told him check it out. I don't know if he's checked it out yet, but he's aware of it. That's for sure.
Good.
I've been telling everybody about it.
Thanks, man.
I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna be on a podcast, everybody. I'm like, no, Omar has a podcast. I'm not even telling people that I'm gonna be on. My girlfriend Juanita's telling people that I'm gonna be on a podcast,
Ah.
and it's like, oh gosh, don't tell people. Don't. I don't. I don't want them to know. That's. But yeah, she's just telling everybody, and I'm telling everybody that you do have a podcast. I am trying
Thanks,
to get you
man.
that exposure. I do everything I can to help you.
Thanks,
Because
man.
yeah, I want you to succeed, and I'm not like an expert on podcasts, but I have a good idea of how that stuff works. I have a good idea of what needs to be done, and exposure is top 3 things you need to do on that.
Yeah.
So,
And just like I mentioned when I was texting you, you were one of the reasons why, I even came across a podcast. I would pass by your office, and I would hear you. I would see that you were listening to a podcast. Like, what are you watching? What are you listening to? And then you're like, oh, it's the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, what the heck? What is that? And I mean, back in Cali, I never even tried to watch or anything. But when I got here, I don't know how it happened, but I came across it, and I was like, this was the podcast that Steven used to listen to. So, I trust Steven's judgment. He's a pretty smart guy.
that is bad. I don't know what you do. I don't trust my judgment, dude. Come on.
You know,
You're already messing up, Omar.
and once I started watching, it just, and that's the thing with me. Like sometimes when I try something, I just get obsessed. So I just started watching all the episodes, and eventually it led up to this.
Well,
But
now you right here.
yeah,
Let's talk.
exactly. So I
You know
mean,
what?
you were part of it. You were one of the reasons why I'm here.
I'll gladly take 100% credit for you starting a podcast once it gets. I'm kidding. No, I'm flattered. I truly am flattered that you would even consider me, for something like this. I was actually taken aback when you actually invited me to go on the podcast. Like, wow, like I I don't see myself as really anybody important or big, And to be, it's interesting to know that I influenced you in some way. I don't ever get to see that or hear that I actually influence somebody. So it is nice to hear. It
Yeah.
makes me feel like I have purpose. So
Yeah. And I mean, everybody has a purpose, and just like we said, you do something or you say something and you never know, but it might affect them in some way. And just
that's
like how
true.
you did, it affected me. I mean, it affected me, but it wasn't right away, but throughout time, it finally got to me. And sometimes it takes time, sometimes it doesn't.
Are you
You know.
fighting it or something? Like, I'm not gonna watch podcasts. No.
Well, you know what it was? Because I knew Joe Rogan was a UFC commentator. I was like, how would this be interesting? Like, does he talk about MMA? And he does talk about MMA fights,
Did
but
you think he was a meathead? Is that what you thought? Like, he doesn't know
yes,
anything. All
yes,
he talks about is punching people in the face.
yes. I think that's what I thought. Yep. And I thought all his podcasts were about fighting.
Yeah, he would have on like Bernie Sanders and be like, "So punching people in the face, Bernie. Do you do it?
Can I punch you?
Can I punch you?" So look, like, he's
Can
so
I
serious
choke you
about it.
out?
Have you ever been put in a rear naked choke? It doesn't hurt. It
And
doesn't
the
hurt.
yeah, yeah,
That's it. Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, he's not. I wouldn't say he's the Godfather, but he definitely
no,
is
yeah,
that North Star that we look at. People involved in the podcast world. If
yeah,
you watch podcasts, or if you know podcasts, or if you watch podcasts, you know Joe Rogan.
yes,
Everybody does. Every single person that
correct,
does that is.
right.
And I guess something that excites me about that whole thing is that he's really brought this brought the audience here, and now we have like
Mm,
more people getting their news from like YouTube and
mm-hmm.
podcasts and stuff. And to me that's important because the little guys, it's the little guys that are gonna be getting you those real hard hitting stories, the things that you really need to know about,
Right.
or whatever your interest is. It's gonna be on YouTube. And we all have a debt of gratitude to that guy.
Yes. Yes. That's true. It's like uh he opened up the door to a bunch of possibilities,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know. And it's weird that cuz when I told you that now I'm watching the Joe Rogan Experience, now you're not watching it.
No, not at all. Not as much. Not as much.
That's funny. Why?
Uh, it's hard to say. One, I listen to a lot of other stuff,
Oh, okay.
and I mostly listen to podcasts. I don't really watch podcasts all that much. I listen more than
Oh,
anything.
okay.
So, um, I'm gonna say that I outgrew him because
Mm.
that doesn't make sense. How do you outgrow something like that? But
Mhm.
I just kind of been shopping around, listening to other stuff, and I
Oh.
kind of there is part of me that has disagreements based off my political beliefs from like some of the guests he has on. So the part I'm not gonna lie, a little bit is comes from bias. Maybe I got a little bit tired of it, but yeah, this just kind of happens every now and again. I'll tune in, like if I see an interesting one.
Right.
Like he had this one guy that, dang it, Daryl something, where this guy talked about converting people from KKK out, and I was like,
Oh,
wow,
yes. Yes,
like
I saw
I was
I saw that one.
really into that one. It was such a good one, like to hear that, and not for any other reason, just to hear like somebody immersing themselves in something like that. So I do still listen every now and again, but just not as much. I
Right.
do have one other problem with podcasts and a lot of these alternative media sources right now. Um, Maybe I'm being a little bitter here, but I kind of have a problem with all these famous people starting podcasts and jumping on these other
Mm.
things. They are like,
They
come
like
on, you're already famous. You already got money.
yes.
Why do you need to start a podcast? Why do you need to do
Yes.
this? Why do you need to like? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong or crazy here, but it to me when I think about, and no offense to you, uh, somebody like you're gonna have your podcast, but then guess what? The Rock just started a podcast.
Yeah.
You know,
So now everybody's going
and
to the rock.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but exactly. Like these are people that are already established and well known, and they got their thing. So,
Yeah, I see
why
what you're
not?
saying. It's like give the other people a chance too. You
Give
know,
the small,
don't
give the little guy a chance.
yeah, don't take advantage of your audience, and just don't hoard your audience towards you. But I think it's also because of the whole COVID thing, to where celebrities and just like you said, famous people, they're used to they're getting used to getting a response. They're used to having an audience. They're used to getting attention. So right now they're not making movies or anything. Now
Well,
they're
they
all,
are.
oh, they are.
They are.
Oh.
That's actually like that's another. It bothers me. I don't. Not to get
Yeah.
too far into too controversial here, but like you also have these are people that get COVID tests like that.
Mm.
And how hard is it for us to get a COVID test?
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
So how can I? It's such a weird feeling knowing that you have these people with all this wealth and all this stuff that can get these COVID tests and go out and do their thing, and we have regular people that have to be getting sick, have symptoms in order to get the test. That's
Right.
ridiculous?
So what do
I,
you think one solution would be?
what would the solution be?
Yes.
I really don't know.
Because I
I
would.
can't say I can't say I have the solution, but I could tell you that that bothers me.
Because I would think that, okay, so let's say, uh, somebody's famous and they have all the money to get a COVID test. Are they supposed? Would it be ideal for them to go to the public and offer tests to everyone for free?
Well, it's not that I'm blaming them. I'm not blaming them. I guess I'm pointing out a structural issue, and it obviously I'm not going to say, shame on you, and we keep using The Rock. Shame on you, The Rock, for being able to get your COVID test and know that you can go produce your movies and do, whatever you want.
Right.
I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, in general, that it sucks
Yes.
when we the regular average Joe are taking that risk by going to that job, and being almost getting sick or be having the opportunity to get sick. Not that it's an opportunity, and these other people just get tested and they're okay. Like they'll get to you can be there or not be there.
Yes.
It bugs me. That's it.
But I think that's also the same with everything, because I mean, you know, like low class people, they don't get the best of food. They get what they can afford, right? But the people that are famous, the people that are rich, I'm pretty sure they get the best out of everything. You
Yeah,
know,
probably.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they get their grass fed cow beef. They get their organic peanuts, organic milk,
Their
everything.
cows are raised in a gated community away from the nest, from the
Exactly.
lowers. Ew, get away from me! I'm a cow. Give me my milk.
Exactly. And I feel like that's just another thing that they can also reach. Not only can they reach all this organic, healthy food and all these get this VIP access to everything, but that's also, COVID is part of that, because, you know, if you had if you had all the money in the world, wouldn't you also buy, a doctor or whatever, a test for yourself and for your family?
Yeah, because it doesn't be if I put myself in their shoes and I have the access, it doesn't make sense for me to be like, well, I know regular people can't get this, so I better not do it. If anything, I guess I would be a bit more of a coward and do it behind the scenes where no one knows that I'm
Yes.
doing it. I'm not going to put
Yes.
that out there because, grant, yeah, it probably makes me look bad that I'm doing it kind of behind your back, but at the same time, I'm not rubbing it in your face either.
Yes. Yes. No, yeah, I think that's true. And that's just like what you said, just like rubbing it in. Like saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, you know what? I got my COVID test. Did you get your COVID test?"
Loser! Stay 6 feet away from me.
Put on your mask. Yes.
You're-
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
oh
they should.
man,
Yeah, that would be a best. But even, I mean, it's so hard. It's so
I
hard.
wouldn't know how to deal with that. I wouldn't.
It's just hard
I
for
don't
us
have. I don't have
because,
solutions.
yeah. It's just hard because you know what? No matter what, we're always gonna complain about something, and just like I'm pretty sure even if they do try to hide it, imagine what would happen if somebody like,
Well, hold
oh,
on. I wouldn't say complain. Uh, I wouldn't use the word complain. I would
oh, okay,
say raise concerns.
oh, okay,
There is a difference in
mm,
that. I try to, and that, I told you, like, I've gotten really good at paying attention to what people say, and I think language is super important, and that's one thing that I do my best to decipher. What's complaining and what's actually raising a concern, even if they
true,
might be the same thing. The way that I'm going to present it is different. So, like right now, I'm like semi-complaining, semi-raising a concern. Like, I think, this is something that I'm sure people don't really consider. Like, but I do. I mean, it's
yes,
hard for me to watch Joe Rogan kind of because of that too. Like, hearing him talk about, oh, don't worry, I'll get you a COVID test right after this. Oh,
yeah,
you want to do an antibody test too? I got my guy. I'll text him right now. Like,
yeah. I see what you're saying.
lucky you.
Yeah,
And we don't live in a society that really promotes in the United States. We don't live in a society that promotes going to the doctor either.
mm,
And I think that has something to do with a lot to do with some of this stuff too. Because come on, we're we're kind of it's kind of ingrained in our heads that you pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You go to work no matter what, even if you're sick, no matter what's going on. You got to go to work. You got to do what you got to do. So of course, people dealing with something like that are obviously not going to go to the doctor. They're going to hesitate, especially with what's going on. It's biting us in the ass. It's biting us in the ass right now. It has to be.
yep, yep, yep. And you know what? I never thought about it this way or used another word to it till now. Right now that you mention it, and I think it's important that when we say things, we kind of use the right term. Just like how you said, there's a difference between complaining and raising the concern.
Yeah,
Because just like everything, we only use one word for it, but it has so many meanings. Just
yeah,
like I said, it complains, and it's not really a complaint. It's just a concern that needs to be raised, and we have to learn to segregate them. Okay, do we worry about the complaints or we worry about the concerns being raised? We should probably worry about the concerns being raised,
yeah.
right? That's
So
very
I
true.
guess an example I could give you, a complaint would be like if I go to Del Taco, your wife's favorite restaurant, and I order fries and they give me a cheeseburger. I'm gonna go. That's kind of a complaint, you know.
Right. Right.
Obviously, it's not much of a concern because I could still eat the burger and be okay.
Yes.
It is. Whereas as a concern is like, maybe you shouldn't be standing under that forklift with all those boxes on it. With that forklift, that leg looks like it's about to break. You probably should move away from there. Yeah, that's a
Right.
concern.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Stephen.
For what? What did I do?
For well, like I said, I was using just complaints, but now I really thought about raising concerns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think about it like a lot of stuff with that because I do have, not to toot my own horn, but I do have the capability of being able to have a conversation with somebody, and I could upset you. I could upset you with the words that I use. I have a very large vocabulary in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at using that stuff, and I know how to place. I know how to do it. And my girlfriend points it out all the time. She's like, always like, you just have to say it like that, don't you? Like, you just have to say it to like upset a person. And I am really good at that. Really, really good at that. Even to like, my managers at work, they're not too fond of me sometimes because of the way I talk, because I
Mm-hmm.
listen to what they say, because I question them, and you would think people would want something like that, but
Right.
it's not always the case. I'm not the most favorite person at work, even though I do. I wear so many different hats there, like, you
Right.
know.
Well, I think also a lot of people don't like confrontation, or they don't like to be told the truth.
Told the truth.
Yes, yes, they like to live in this lie. So, what do you think has helped you with this vocabulary and this knowledge? Do you read a lot of books? Is it all your podcast listening? What is it?
Um, I think it's kind of my upbringing. When I was younger, I wasn't allowed to like go to friends' houses and things like that. So I did do a lot of reading as a kid,
Mm.
and I did watch a lot of TV as a kid, and I would like listen to things that they would words that they would say and stuff, and then I'd go back to school and I would use those terms on the playground. I would, one thing that I always try to do is try to before I look a word up is see if I can apply it correctly myself in my mind.
Okay, example.
Uh, yeah, an example, accuse. When I was younger, accuse was that one always sticks out in my mind.
Uh huh.
Learning that word and trying to apply it myself. I would use it wrong, like with my mom, and, and she would just be like, "What's wrong with you? That's not how you use that word." Like, oh, okay, I better go look up the definition now of accuse.
Uh huh.
So pretty much growing up, I did that. I watched a lot of TV. I read books, and
Nice.
I picked up on stuff like that. Gave my teachers a lot of flack. That's what it was.
Dude.
You know, and I guess probably I would say being poor has a lot to do with it too. Growing up poor has a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do with that. So
Right.
we weren't always the wealthiest family, so there was a lot more work that had to go into whatever I would do to achieve something. You know?
Right. And are you reading right now any books?
Kind of, kind of.
Really?
I read mostly. What's my kick right now? Right now, I read a lot of articles.
Oh,
Super into
okay.
politics. We don't have to get too into that, but I read a
Right.
lot of politics. I had this app my girlfriend showed me called Congress, I think. Or wait, look at my
Congress?
phone. Please don't hate me. Yeah, one second.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, breaking podcast etiquette right now. Hold on, let me find out. I want to tell you. Oh, yeah, it's called Congress, and
Congress?
with that, there's bills, there's people's vote, there's people in government's votes and stuff like that, and I read that crap. I read all of that stuff. If somebody has a bill coming out, I'm that guy that's gonna read it. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I read a lot of bills, I read a lot of articles, I read a lot of news stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if there was a book that I'm really heavily interested in that I recommend to people, it's going to be called Manufacturing Consent. It's by Noam Chomsky, and
Mm-hmm.
it basically dives into the media landscape right now
Mm.
and how the media has shaped our views as a society
Mm-hmm.
and what it's done to us.
Interesting.
I'm being intentionally vague because there's a lot,
Yes, I'm
there's
sure there's a
much
lot.
to that.
Yeah.
But that book, it's an eye opener. If
Right.
you read through it, the bits and parts that I've read through it, it's kind of like, man,
Do they
I
have
really
a
don't like the media.
audiobook?
Yeah, most
Yeah.
likely. They most
All right.
likely do.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
You know what? I haven't. I've kind of flirted with audiobooks with my girlfriend. We went to Sequoia's and we listened to an audiobook. I forgot what it was. So
Mm-hmm.
don't ask me. But I think I might get in. I might be start. I'm gonna start listening to audiobooks too. That
Yeah.
might be the way for me.
Yeah. Well, I have to drive a lot for work, so I mean that's one of the best ways for
That's
me
perfect.
to read books is just as audiobooks because reading books I don't really have a lot of time for that. But when I'm driving, even when I go to the gym and I get on the treadmill, even if it's like 15 minutes a day, I mean, I'll eventually finish a book in like a month. And as long as I at least get like one or two books a month, I'm okay with that. You know?
Huh. I think I might take you up on. I might do that. Copy you.
Yeah,
Is that
try.
okay?
Try. Of course.
Alrighty. I'm gonna get glasses and a hairstyle.
All right, Steven. We got to wrap this up, buddy.
Oh,
It was
okay.
so much fun.
It was
Thank you
quick. It went by
again
faster than
for
I thought. Yeah,
doing
of
this.
course, dude.
We have to do this again. I
Of course, I will be. I'll be your what Brian Redband is to Joe Rogan.
No, who I thought you would be to me, Joe Rogan's Duncan Trussell.
Duncan Trussell.
Yes.
Except less cool.
What? You're even cooler.
Oh man, you never met Duncan Trussell. You can't say that.
All right, Steven. Thank you,
All right.
buddy.